There's a recent string of attacks in my area. Looks like this is recording. And a Latin guy was going around robbing old people. And the problem is we live in a blue state, so people can't exercise their Second Amendment rights. If you guys have noticed, the algorithm has been so hard on conservative content creators. I just got off of ℜ𝔬𝔪𝔞's channel. He's trying to sell his dragon knives, which are really cool, hard hitting, but he just can't get into the algorithm at all. It's not just him, it's all kinds of other people. They're all struggling with it. He's going to be doing a collaboration with Jury Provokachev. I can't say that name. He's a UFC fighter, but Yuri Provochka, Prochazka, Prochoska. I can't speak Chechen. Anyway, he's going to be doing a collaboration with him real soon, so look forward to that. Support your local weapon, or support your weapons content creators all across YouTube. YouTube is the only platform that's allowing people to put weapons content up there, but they control it. They let you stay in your own little bubble. They don't let anybody else come in, and they're going to continue to harass conservative content creators. So that's going to keep going on. There was a meeting at Davos. They all agreed to do that. And then Trump came in, told him the American agenda, kind of shut him down for a minute. But everybody's sort of doing this. And I've noticed that the YouTube app has been crazy on my devices, from all kinds of censorship, locking my keys so that I can't turn it up and down the volume, giving me storage problems, just being a jerk, dude. Constant harassment. So it's been really hard to put content out. Every time I try to do it, something goes wrong. And it's getting other people too. They can't put their content out in the feed, and I think they're just harassing conservative content creators because there's an agenda to do that. It's already come out. So anyway, I've been studying some more counter ambush tools. Just got done checking one out that came out from Jeff's method, and he came up with essentially a hidden blade with a slip lock. So we'll call it slip joint slip lock. Copies the ℜ𝔬𝔪 method. Check that out. That's in the community tab. And on the counter ambush topic, today's weapons theoretical concept, that's what this one is, we're going to look at basically a mace pen gun. And it's something I've done before with a piezoelectric generator, and I've done it with a palm dart pistol. But now I want to use some blast caps, or I want to get into the theoretical concept about how that might work out. Back in the day, the CIA used to have a system that used, I thought it was a 38. Unfortunately, if you build these devices, you could get into trouble from the ATF because it's considered a zip gun. I've studied zip guns for a long time. When I was in high school, I had a notebook and I drew up a zip gun that was meant to fire hot glue darts as a less lethal. That was a old fun project that I never got to accomplish. But you can see all these different, I think they're wax cartridges in blanks here, and that's meant to fire out the bottom. That's all a metal pen, so you can use that for all of your shock zone attack areas. Like a Kubaton, really, really awesome. I got some other clever ways that I would use that too. But that takes us to these two videos over here. If you build this device, you might get into a lot of trouble with the ATF, even though the powder won't burn. They might consider it to be in any other firearm or something. If you have a handle, you can make zip guns, but there's just a bunch of stuff to it. I wonder if a little ring would make that acceptable for like a handle. Seems like that would work out too, and that would be stealthy, kind of hidden in your hand until you flip that switch. But it sort of does act like a handle, don't it? I guess. I don't know. Anyway, we have two videos that I want to bring your attention to. It Could Explode had looked into this a while ago, and he got these rings, cap rings, from the 80s, and it gave his gun more power. Before we get into this, though, Assassin's Creed's gone woke. They're pushing the rainbow stuff. And when you look up ℜ𝔬𝔪𝔞, that might push a bunch of rainbow stuff too. So I don't know why it's everywhere. That's what I was talking about. Whoever that is down here in the bottom left corner, I'm not into that. But ℜ𝔬𝔪𝔞, there was a guy showing a recipe for it filled with pepper. Yeah, I've seen a lot of people doing just mace lighters with just pepper juice. Salt and pepper juice in a squirt gun, just pepper. Yeah, a lot of different stuff. Using garlic powder too. Here we go. Modern Shinobi. You guys check that out. That way you can get the ℜ𝔬𝔪 recipe the way that I did, and that's going to make sense for this theoretical concept right here. A while ago, I did a poison dart pen, and I think you could do this with a blowgun too. But a while ago, I did a poison dart pen using this system, and I think ideally what we'd want to do is get one of those 80s style blast caps, put it over the nipple here. We're going to muzzle load it. You can use a BB or a cone. He draws a nail back to set this off, but you would have it muzzle loaded with your powder. You want it compact in there enough where it won't fall out, but not so much that it like obstructs the barrel. And then you want something behind it, like I said, so like a BB and then a powder load. You could use like flour and just pepper from a pepper packet at McDonald's or something. If you want to get spicy with it, you can step that up with like cayenne pepper. And then there's all kinds of other peppers and even some secret ones that I'm not going to discuss here. Like I said, go watch that ℜ𝔬𝔪 video. You can get a lot of stuff out of that. But essentially what I'm thinking about is a pepper blaster counter ambush tool. I was talking to my friends about this too. I said, what can you guys get? Because I already got them using different systems, and we're on the ℜ𝔬𝔪 pop tube system, but you have to throw that out. It would be nice to have a charge behind that. I'm also playing around with pressurized lighters too. I was just coughing on a cloud from one not too long ago because I was working on that ring and string method on the wrist to be able to shoot it out. J-Laser Video does a much better job of like a Spider-Man gauntlet for that. I wish he knew how practical and useful that is in the world of counter ambush that I've been studying when it comes to people drawing out their pistol or getting to their weapon. Weapon access and weapon retention is so important. But when you're doing it in counter ambush, they're already armed and you want to get a tool into the fight. So I wish Jay Laser knew what kind of gold that he had there with his little Spider-Man mace gauntlet or little flamethrowers and stuff. Now those are considered, I think, weapons of mass destruction, but I'm not sure. So just be careful. Obviously, everything that I say or that I talk about is for entertainment and academic purposes. Always, whatever you do is your own business and you're responsible for it. That's all I have to say. I'm saying that for legal reasons. You guys know that. So you're responsible for your own choices. I cannot condone the building or the use of any of these tools to harm with intent for anybody. Um, but what you do, that's your own business. I might suggest, because it's springtime, the mosquitoes are going to be showing up, that everybody invests in a gator mask, though. Those are quite useful. So what I really like about these pens is they're streamlined, they're small, you can hide them behind your finger using the rubber band system. I've been doing like a rubber band ring system with a Zebra F701, and they got these inserts that you can get for those bad boys that make the ink cartridge so it doesn't want to explode. You can swap out pen tips. If you put the spring and staple in there, that ends up as a tactical pen. You can also just rub it on the concrete, and that'll make that guy quite sharp. I know over on the Ed Calderon Instagram, if you start following those people like Hobo Tactical, they have these aggressive pen bezels that are sharpened on the side on the brass. Somebody hits them with a bench grinder. Those guys are already fluted in a way to make it so they can be a dagger self-defense tool. So, wonderful. Anyway, let's get back into this guy. Essentially what you do is you pull the nail back, it's on a spring, and it fires a BB out. Now the reason I want the 80s blast caps is because I want the powder to go across the room further and faster, but this is the device that I wanted to draw your attention to. These are all over the internet. I hope you're able to find them. Now, you got to remember, I'm old as dirt, so the videos that I show you guys are like from 12 to 14 years ago. I know it doesn't sound like it, but I am. It's a nice little shot right there. So had that had like a powdered mix to it, it'd be an outstanding device. My theoretical concept for this is to take a rubber band, slide it up the back, put it on a ring, and then when you need it, you can equip the tool and just pop that off with two hands, even if you had to, like, I don't know, put a string around the nail using a triangle file, use your teeth and bite and pop or something. I don't know. It seems kind of ridiculous, but it keeps it hands free, in an emergency. I also played around with a system that used kind of like a Z lock and then you let it off. I can't remember what the hell I named that. Oh, the pocket rocket. Just playing around with the pocket rocket system. It was an inverted rubber band, but that locking mechanism might work for this. That way you only have to kick it off with your fingernail and you don't need two hands. Also, just as a cheater, though, I mean, even though I like those 80s blast caps and the effect that they had on those cans, it was just awesome. The piezoelectric generator had quite a thump, too. I remember the procedure for it was once I glued the piezoelectric generator into the plastic of the pen, that I just loaded or I sprayed the alcohol in there, wafted it around a little bit, and muzzle loaded it like normal, and it was able to fire out. So I was trying to do like a spit wad thing to keep that all contained in there. But with the Nerf gun system that I put together using the Mitsubishi, I was taking out the little stopper. There's like a stopper in there. You got to cut that out. And then there's a toggle inside of the barrel you got to break off. That gives it more power and more kick. You cut the Nerf dart down, you muzzle load the powder on, and it does have a pretty good amount of force. It comes out with a thump. And getting any of this powder in your eyes, if you guys have ever been in an area with straight line winds, dust is it is a merciless thing when your eyes get taken out. That's why they train it in all the knife work and stuff, Libre and everything. Really awesome. Anyway, thanks guys. Bye.